From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital. This is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Melinda Akilami.
Welcome. Tonight, the Action People's Party, APP, wins 22 out of the 23 local government area chairmanship seats in Rivers State, announced by the RCEC. The electoral umpire says Eche local government results and that of 319 councillorship results will be announced at a later date. The Rivers State Police Command investigates 2 explosions that rocked the city of Port Harcourt in the early hours of today as the command's explosive ordnance department collects samples from both sides. And the House of Representatives commend President Bola Tinubu for rectifying a award of national honor conferred on Speaker Tajuddin Abbas.
In On Business News tonight, Nigeria's finance minister confirms official commencement of the much-awaited sale of crude oil and refined petroleum products in Naira with effect from October the 1st.
And on sports news tonight, world number 4 Novak Djokovic fought through 2 tie breaks to make his way into the 3rd round of the Shanghai Masters with a 7-6, 7-6 victory over Alex Michelson.
State Independent Electoral Commission, RCEC, has announced the result for the local government election held today. The Commission's chairman, Justice Adolphus Inebili, who announced the results, said the Action People's Party, APP, won the chairmanship position in 22 out of the 23 local government areas where collation has been concluded. He said collation in Eche local government area is still ongoing due to the difficult terrain of the area. The RCEC chairman added that announcement for the 319 councillor positions will be made alongside that of Eche local government area when collation are concluded.
I, Honorable Justice Adolphus Inebili, retired, in my capacity as the Chairman, Chief Electoral Commissioner of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, and pursuant to the extant provisions of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Law Number 2, 2018, and all other laws enabling me in that behalf, do hereby make declaration of results for the chairmanship elections into the 23 local government councils of Rivers State. After painstaking collation of results at the close of poll by our team of officials regarding the local government council elections conducted this day, the 5th of October 2024, the following candidates, having scored majority of lawful or valid votes cast in 2/3 of the respective wards comprising their respective local government areas of Rivers State, are hereby returned as elected chairmen or chairwomen. They are 1. Abua Odwa, Ruben Vincent Obo, APP. Ahoda East, Ezu Rizi Chibudom Hezekiah, APP. Ahoda West, Ikporo Iyeko, APP. Akukutoro, Tonye Briggs Oniyide, APP. Andone, Lazarus Gote Intogwile, APP. Asaritoro, Engineer Dr. Sule Amakere, APP. Boni Anengi Barasua, Wakos, APP. Degema, Dr. Agrie M. Harry, APP. Eleme, Brian A.E. Gokba, APP. Emowa, Omereji Shinedu David, APP. In respect of Eche, the Commission in its wisdom stood down its result because of the expansive land there comprised of 19 words. Collation, want to be sure of correct collation before we announce. And so for Eche local government, it is stood down till the announcement of results or declaration of results for the councillors.
Prior to the announcement of results, an explosion rocked the city of Port Harcourt in the wee hours of the day before residents took to the polls. The exercise was received with mixed reactions, as seen in the low and high turnout in some areas. In Port Harcourt's city local government area, it progressed peacefully without the presence of security operatives. However, some policemen were sighted on Aba Road near the office of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission. Our correspondent, Charles Oporum, has this report.
The day begins on a scary note. Residents of Rivers State are awoken by an explosion rocking the secretariat of the Tony Okocha-led APC on Aba Road. Thankfully, there are no casualties, but the building suffers some damage.
That at about 3:20 a.m., some gun-trotting young men with their explosive and all that came here and dropped the first explosive. Maybe because the second one they dropped around that side did not detonate. They came back the second time where you see to burn the structure. Look at the security house is gone. Behind me, you will see too that there was also an attempt. It was just our boys, not an attempt, they did. Our boys now came, our people came and they were able to put out the fire.
Away from the APC secretariat, the streets of Port Harcourt are empty as the local government election is ongoing. While many parts of town are empty, there is voting ongoing at Ward 13, Unit 13 of Obiakpo local government area. A visit to the hometown of the APC chairman, Emeka Beke, in a Librada town in Emoa local government, shows there is voting, and Mr. Beke extols the process, saying it's free and fair. He also condemns the attack on Mr. Okocha's facility.
The election is going on you can see the atmosphere is very calm and peaceful. Nobody is doing anything, no security agent, but the election is really calm because this election that will decide the people of the grassroots in the locality. I just saw something that is trying to system. If there's anybody who knows me that I'm not that kind of character. The two parties secretary has been on and nobody has been able to destroy anyone. I don't think anybody who has done that, I totally condemn that. It's not in my character and I would never get involved in such thing because I don't believe in that. That is not the best way to go about something. If you have an issue, the court is the place that you go to sort out your problem.
At Egbeda, in same Emoha where the APP candidate hails from, it's a carnival atmosphere with singing, drumming and dancing. Mr. Oberiji debunks insinuations about the polls not holding.
This is one of the most freest elections ever in the history of our modern democracy. The materials were timely distributed from RESEC office and it got to our LGAs untimely. And it was equally distributed to the various wards and units. You can see the jubilation, you can see the turnout, you can see that the people are happy with the victory of today.
The council election may have been concluded, but the ripple effects will definitely be felt in the coming days. Charles Oporum, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the Rivers State Police Command say they are investigating the two explosions. In a statement by the command spokesperson, Grace Iringe Koko, the police acknowledged the explosion at the Rivers APC Secretariat and another one at the council headquarters of Obiakpo. The statement further adds that the command's explosive ordnance department have collected samples from both sites and are actively investigating the situation. Midway into voting, members of the Rivers PDP and some members of the APC staged a rally to the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission along Aba Road in Port Harcourt. The group declared that there was no election in Rivers State and no activity at Ausiek following the letter from the House of Assembly advising against it. They were accompanied by a crowd of supporters who blocked Aba Road for the duration of their rally. The much-anticipated local government elections in Rivers State have held despite continuous opposition in some quarters. This election has seen court orders and counter-orders which exempted the police and DSS from providing security. Our correspondent, Deborah Agbalama, has more on the situation from different wards across the state.
The local government elections in Rivers State have taken place despite oppositions and earlier concerns, and some results already announced. Earlier today, the streets were deserted without vehicular movement in compliance with the no movement order by Governor Similaye Fubara as voters headed to their polling units.
So the disruption did not affect the counting.
In Port Harcourt City local government area, elections progressed without issues. We observed peaceful voting processes without the presence of security operatives at the different units visited.
The election has been wonderful. It has been peaceful, fair and credible. I really commend the effort of the RISEC. With the imbroglio that preceded this election, I didn't expect them to perform this wonderfully.
Now it's very simple. You can see the people of the mass, and you've seen that they voted. So the election failed.
This is about one of the most transparent process I've ever seen. And I must tell you that I'm highly impressed with the turnout of Rivers people who came out here to exercise their franchise.
However, the situation was different around the polling units within the Rimer-Precom axis of Obiakpo, where we noticed zero voting activities. Residents who spoke with us off camera explained that they were respecting instructions from the FCT minister who hails from the community. In a statement, Toby Staminotoyi, a RISEC commissioner in charge of civic education and public affairs, threw more light on the absence of polling agents and voting activities in Ward 9, noting that RISEC ad hoc workers faced resistance and were called back for their own safety from the Rimer-Precom axis of Obiakpo. He also alleged that the disruptors were reportedly acting on instructions from the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory. He further noted that the turnout across the 23 LGAs was high, despite isolated incidents. While we notice no police presence on the streets and polling centers, there is a heavy presence of security agencies at the premises of RISEC on Ava Road in Port Harcourt at the time of filing this report.
Now that the elections have been concluded at the polling units and collation centers around the 23 local government areas of Rivers State, it is now up to RISEC, the state election umpire, to announce the results. It's no longer news that for 3 months now, local government councils have remained locked. With these announcements put to rest the closure of these local government councils, Deborah Balama, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, the House of Representatives commend President Bola Tinubu for rectifying award of national honor conferred on Speaker Tajuddin Abbas. That's in a moment. Join us again.
The first thing anybody who is visually impaired will first do is to learn how to read and write in Braille.
Because Braille is an inner sort of information, it's a system by which the blind use to read and write. So where it is not available, it's a big challenge because we are left behind.
In our quest to drive all-encompassing financial inclusion, we decided to support the visually impaired by developing Braille account opening forms.
They deserve equal access to financial services.
This is indeed a great milestone and a first in the industry.
Inclusiveness is one of the mandates.
And thanks so much for even thinking about us who are visually impaired.
It's the Glow Festival of Joy and it's bringing exciting prizes. Oh, for 120 days, we take it to the max. Mind-blowing, loaded prizes. Take John, winning a tear rubber Toyota Prado by recharging up to 100,000 naira. And Sister T, winning a Cha-Cha Kia Picanto by recharging up to 50,000 naira.
Yes, the gifts are unloading enjoy all over Nigeria.
From Toyota Prados to Kia Picantos, Keke Napets, generators, sewing machines, and even grinding machines. Just dial *611#, choose your prizes, recharge the value for the month, and you too can win. Whoa, you too can win,
Our story blooms over 2 decades ago in a humble university dorm room where the weight of the dark put a strain on our hands, a stain on the sheet where we mapped out our plans. But innovation lit our eyes with a fire to blaze the trail, to change Africa, one solution, one transaction at a time. Our ears listened to the time, the buzzing tune of bright ideas. We stretched out our hands, and remember what we did? We flipped the switch. We flipped the switch, it was no ordinary motion. It was to herald a new notion. It is the champion's charge, your invitation to stand on our shoulders. It is your time for innovation. So go ahead, flip that switch, build that business, scale that hitch. Africa's future is waiting on us. And what looks like the sky is only the dew. We are on the brink of something new. Because at InterSwitch, we never stop. So you don't stop.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. The Action People's Party, APP, wins 22 out of the 23 local government area chairmanship seats in Rivers State, announced by RCEC. The electoral umpire says a chair local government results and that of 319 councillorship results will be announced at a later date. The Rivers State Police Command investigates 2 explosions that rocked the city of Port Harcourt in the early hours of today, as the command's explosive ordnance department collects samples from both sites. And House of Representatives commend President Tinubu for rectifying award of national honor conferred on Speaker Tajuddin Abbas. From Port Harcourt to Obiakpo and other parts of Rivers State, the streets were deserted in compliance to state government's directives on restriction of vehicular movement. Despite months of heated controversies culminating in a security scare, voters still turned out at polling units where materials were deployed. In Port Harcourt local government area, accreditation and voting started early in Ward 14. Units 14 and 15, where the caretaker committee chairman and councillorship candidate of the Action People's Party cast his vote.
The much anticipated October 5th local government elections in Rivers State is finally here, and the streets from Port Harcourt to Obiakpo and other parts of the state are deserted, obviously in compliance to state government's directives on restriction of vehicular movement. Despite months of heated controversies culminating in security scares, voters still turned out at polling units where materials were deployed. In Port Harcourt local government area, accreditation and voting started early in Ward 18, Units 14 and 15, where the caretaker committee chairman and chairmanship candidate of the Action People's Party cast his vote.
Now we've been accredited, I have voted, you can see other persons are voting. The local government reports I'm getting from other parts of the local government, Port Harcourt City local government, is also good and favorable that our people are out there voting.
In Obiakpo, while elections may not have been held in some areas at the time of this report, election was held in Rumudiri Unit 40, Ward 1, and Unit 6, Ward 9, at Buri Eze, Amadi Igwe.
RISEC has indeed done well. They've not 98% of what we're expecting them to do by doing the right thing. And like with what the Supreme Court have said, that we should conduct the election within the 90 days, that elections should be held in Rivers State.
Reports from Mahoda, Omuma, and other local government areas also showed that elections were conducted, but cannot be confirmed to be in all polling units. As in other parts of the state, the voters appear not worried about the absence of the police at polling units.
2008, I was in US. When Obama was first voted as president, you don't see uniformed men around polling units. You don't see security. If you go to Europe, you don't need the police. Until Nigeria, we are growing. democracy is getting matured here. We don't need the police. You can see that voting is ongoing.
This is the election that has been most peaceful, and with police absence, it shows that we are coming of age, and civilians and politicians can manage themselves even in the absence of police.
For many, today is not just about electing local government officials, but about the direction Rivers State will take for the next few years, especially in key areas such as security and governance.
In the meantime, former President Dr. Goodluck Jonathan has said the ongoing political crisis in Rivers State calls for serious concern. In a statement issued today, the former president appealed to stakeholders to wade into the political situation immediately to avoid a breakdown of law and order, while acknowledging that the local government election in Rivers State has been a subject of great interest to political actors. Dr. Jonathan says it remains a serious concern for everyone, especially lovers of democracy and all actors within the peace and security sector of the nation. He adds that elections are the cornerstone of democracy because they are the primary source of legitimacy, and the process renews the faith of citizens in their country as it affords them the opportunity to have a say in who governs them. And just like Rivers State, local government elections also took place in Akwa Ibom State, but hoodlums attacked the Akisiek office. The police public relations officer, Tim Fon John, will confirm the incident, says the electoral materials remained untouched and the election proceeded as scheduled. Voting was delayed in most polling units as a result of the early morning downpour, which affected human and vehicular movements. Some of the voters spoke to our correspondent regarding the exercise.
Yeah, okay.
There's been no election as far as Ogun is concerned. I don't know what has happened in the rest of Akwa Ibom states, but in the morning we mobilized our voters to the polling units, and we've waited till this time, and we've not seen any material coming to the center. No policeman, no security agency, nobody is here. We've gone to INEC or Akisiek to ask them where they have sent materials to, and they have no answers to us.
We are angry that in a democratic dispensation, citizens of Ogun cannot vote. They have been disenfranchised. And this is worst for it that we are practicing a democracy. We are calling on government at all levels to condemn what is happening in Ogun local government area. This is a clear display of cowardice by the PDP. If they want the election to test popularity, they should allow the citizens of government of Ogun, the local government entirely, to participate in elections, and whoever wins will win, whoever loses will lose, and then we'll enjoy the spirit of sportsmanship.
Meanwhile, the president of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, also participated in the Akwa Ibom local government election. Speaking after voting at Ukana Ward 1, Esen Udim local government area, Senator Akpabio says that while he believes in local government autonomy, the National Assembly still needs to tidy up a few details.
For me, I believe strongly in the autonomy of local governments, and the Supreme Court had recently given a verdict that there is need for funds of local governments to go directly to local governments. But it will still need a bit of parliamentary tinkering for that to become a reality as a result of various provisions in the Constitution and in the various acts, like the Joint Local Government Accounts Committee, and of course the provision of what we call SIEC, which in Akwa Ibom is called Akisiek, Akwa Ibom State Independent Electoral Commission. So my coming here today is to, one, participate in the local government polls, and secondly, to observe the conduct of the local government election by the state governments. If elections are allowed to be free and fair, that a lot of political parties will choose people on the basis of their competence and not on the basis of the ruling party in that state. It calls to question the conscience of Nigerians, the need for us to examine our conscience.
In Benue State, late arrival of election materials as well as poor voter turnout marred the local government election. A visit to several polling units across Makurdi, the state capital, showed no sign of electoral activity in most parts of the town. However, officials of the Benue State Independent Electoral Commission are optimistic that the poor logistics will not affect the outcome of the exercise.
The streets of Makurdi, the Benue State capital, are busy, showing no indication of any electoral activity. The State Independent Electoral Commission is holding local government elections across the 23 local government areas of the state. However, as at 1 p.m., these youths are still waiting for the polling units to open, while utilizing their time for other social engagements.
Early as 8 o'clock, I went there to cast my votes, and the INEC officials, they are not available, but we are still waiting to cast our vote. So we are playing that let be free and fair election.
At this polling unit, security officials are on ground. However, the election materials are nowhere near.
This is Atlanta 1 and 2. Atlanta 1 and 2 polling unit. And this is my family house. I stay here. I vote here too. And we have not seen materials. It's about 1 p.m. or 1:25 p.m. thereabout. Up to this point, we have not seen. I don't know if we are going to have elections here or not.
The turnout is past 1. I don't think it will be going to be credible. Because most people that are supposed to be on ground that early morning, they are not there. So some of us are relaxed. So if they can decide to do anything, they feel like doing.
There appears to be some electoral activity in another part of the state capital. Election materials are still being distributed as at 1:30 p.m.
We are going to meet up time. The materials came on time. It's the pickup that caused the delay. There are some people, they were trying to cause troubles. That's the reason why the pickup was a little late. But we are going to meet up with elections and everything is going to be well.
Since the material didn't come early, we're going to do our best and try to work with the people around to see that everything goes well. Yes, I believe people are already in their wards, in their polling unit waiting. So we'll be on our way to meet them right away.
We have informed the villagers, the people, the voters that today is election, and even the executive governor gave a margin order yesterday that everybody should go to his polling unit. That is the reason why there was no work yesterday. So as you can see, there's a very large turnout, and it's very peaceful. No noise, no fighting. The security men are just relaxing.
8 political parties are contesting across 5,102 polling units in the 276 council wards and 23 local government areas of the state.
Away from political stories, the House of Representatives has expressed its gratitude to President Bola Tinubu for addressing what they describe as a significant historical oversight by conferring the Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, GCON, on the Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas. The lawmakers say this action restores the constitutional parity between both chambers of the National Assembly. The House had earlier passed a resolution led by Honorable Phillips Agwese and supported by over 249 members, urging the President to remedy the long-standing discrepancy in the conferment of national honors. The resolution significantly sought to align the recognition of the Speaker with that of the President of the Senate and the Chief Justice of Nigeria, reinforcing the constitutional principle of equality between the two legislative chambers. Teachers are asking governments at federal and state levels to prioritize investment in the sector by providing infrastructure and improving their welfare. October the 5th every year was established by the United Nations in 1994 as World Teachers' Day to raise awareness on the challenges teachers face, including inadequate resources, low salaries, and limited time for personal development. The Nigeria Union of Teachers organized a special event to mark the day in the nation's capital, Abuja.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Minister of Education, and the Head of Service are among top government officials attending this year's World Teachers' Day in Abuja. The day is set aside by the United Nations and the International Labour Organization to recognize and honor teachers globally. Parade by teachers is a significant part of the celebration as it adds color to the occasion. The theme for this year calls for the need to hear teachers' voices towards a new social contract in the education sector.
Poor funding and inadequate investment in education constitute major barrier to effective implementation of educational policies and programs in Nigeria. Budgetary allocation to the sector over the years have remained a fair cry from the international recommended benchmarks of at least 6% of GDP and/or at least 20% of the national budget.
Officials of the United Nations draw attention to areas that need urgent intervention in the sector.
In line with the recommendations of the United Nations Secretary General's high-level panel on the teaching profession, we stress the importance of international cooperation to ensure teachers are granted the professional respect, autonomy, and resource they deserve.
However, the federal government is reassuring teachers of its commitment to improve welfare and investment in the sector.
The federal government of Nigeria presently places emphasis on the teaching profession as enshrined in the national policy on education, which states among the other goals of teacher education to provide highly motivated, conscientious, and efficient classroom teachers for all levels of our educational system.
We recognize the urgency of addressing the challenges in the sector, and we are committed to ensuring that Nigerian teachers have the tools, recognition, and resources needed to succeed.
World Teachers' Day is marked annually on October 5, and as teachers speak to the issues affecting them this year, many here hope that those in authority would listen and act.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Finance Minister Wale Edun confirms the official commencement of the much-awaited sale of crude oil and refined petroleum products in Naira with effect from October the 1st. That's on Business News. Please stay with us.
Do you have a burning desire to transform your country? Can you drive this change with a profitable business? Then this is your moment. Seize the chance to win a grant of 30 million naira, gain top-tier mentorship from industry titans, and connect with an elite network of business leaders. Channels Television is once again on the hunt for young, ambitious, relentless social entrepreneurs ready to shine on the second season of the business competition show, Funded Forward. Apply now at www.fundedforward.tv. Funded Forward, a Channels original series. Apply now.
Welcome back. Nigeria is facing a sharp rise in the cost of living with significant increase in prices affecting everything from daily transportation to grocery shopping. These economic changes are impacting millions across the country. In this report, our business correspondent, Willie Bong, takes a closer look at how these price hikes are affecting key significant sectors such as transportation, food security, and healthcare.
In Nigeria, a single change set off a chain reaction that is reshaping the nation's economy and the lives of its citizens.
When fuel subsidies were removed last year, prices at the pump surged by over 200%. But that was just the first domino to fall.
Most businesses in Nigeria are micro, mini, small, and medium scale. They are really very small. So they all rely solely on PMS as against diesel. So because they have to rely on PMS and the subsidy on PMS has been removed, so it's going to affect them. It's going to affect their cost line.
Transportation costs tripled almost overnight.
Normally, before I reach by Mobile, I'll have full passengers. But now we're carrying one, some are trekking.
I park my own private car to go on public buses.
Prices of things changes, like it changes unnecessarily.
Even to buy one daily cup of rice, even garri self, even oyelubo, everything is cost.
The country is now at turbulent stage.
This triggered a rapid increase in food prices as the cost of moving goods skyrocketed.
Not long ago, we used to transport our produce from Gombe State at the cost of 400 naira per bag, but now we have to pay 1,700 naira per bag. This has really affected us a lot, and we have no option but to include the additional cost when selling to our customers.
For street vendors, the effects are dire.
Mineral, we are selling one now, it's 400 naira. Before it's 350. Once you buy one pack now, it's 4-5. Our gain now is 300 naira inside the mineral, 12 pack.
Over-the-counter drugs that were once affordable appear now to be out of reach, putting lives at risk.
Our customers sometimes, for them to get some drugs that will take care of them is difficult. Because even common 1,500 malaria drugs, some people cannot afford it. Because the reason is that they will think of food first. Somebody that have not eaten cannot be taking drugs on empty stomach. And instead of that, they will tell you, just give me paracetamol. I go well, madam. Don't worry, I go well.
In the wake of the hiking prices, protesters flooded the streets, demanding relief from the soaring costs.
Cost of living, what is
The government insists these are necessary growing pains.
The commitment to ease those pains is a very, very robust one, and it is going to keep having beneficial results as we go down the road.
According to the National Bureau of Statistics, headline inflation rate eased to 32.15% in August 2024, down from 33.4% in July. However, this slight decrease appears to do little to ease the burden of skyrocketing prices across the country. The true cost of this crisis cannot be measured in naira alone.
Some of the issues that they are bringing up would be, not being able to get transportation, to attend school. So there's low academic performance as a result of this economic challenge. Of course, for those who are in marriage, the men are complaining of not being able to provide for their families. So they are having issues with sleeping because they are wondering where they can get the next meal for their family.
In education, the hidden costs are equally alarming.
If you put too much school fees, you'll be knocked out of business if it is a business you are into. So you have to just maintain. And how do you maintain your staff when you have rising prices? So it's difficult. The thing is challenging. Government never gave any grant. I'm not aware of them giving a grant to anybody. Rather, they are taxing us on a daily basis.
As businesses waver, unemployment rises, creating a new wave of social challenges.
We have more people using drugs because they don't have a job. We have more people, going on the street now, more people wanting to rape and other forms of sexual abuse, indulge in other forms of sexual abuse and conduct disorder because they don't have a job.
As the crisis deepens, questions emerged. How much more can Nigerians endure? And at what cost to the nation's future?
If we don't address the issues right now, we're going to have an escalation and a ripple effect. And what is coming, I don't think that we are ready to handle it.
My advice to Mr. President, therefore, is to call the central bank governor and all the key stakeholders to find an alternative to policy of flotation, because we cannot practice blood flotation policy in a developing import-dependent country with subsidy removal. And I tell you, if this continues, things will only become tougher for the people.
As millions of Nigerians continue to persevere, they are hoping that beyond this period of hardship, a more secure tomorrow lies ahead. Will Ibong, Channels Television News. Professor Epiphany Azinge has been officially crowned as the 14th Asagba of Asaba. This was done in a brief ceremony at the late Asagba's palace in Asaba, Delta State, where the regent, Louis Edozien, who held brief since February the 13th after his father's death, transferred the staff of office to the new monarch. In his acceptance speech, Professor Azinge, who was flanked by his wife Valerie, thanked the team for effectively midwifing the peaceful and transparent process that led to his selection, and asked other contenders to join him in giving Asaba a purposeful reign. News now. Mobile technology company Techno Nigeria has unveiled its first ever AI-powered ecosystem. Techno says the AI-powered ecosystem is a selection or a collection of devices from smartphones, laptops, wristwatches to gaming devices that are designed for Nigerian consumers to help them connect, create, and engage the world.
In fulfillment of its commitment to enhance productivity and creativity, Techno Mobile Nigeria brings together partners and industry players to showcase the latest innovations from its stable. The unveiling of Phantom V Fold 2 5G, Phantom V Flip 2, Camon 30 series and Spark 30 series smartphones is the highlight of the event. The latest models with cutting-edge technologies and AI features represent Techno's commitment to quality and affordability while delivering an immersive smartphone experience that exceeds expectations.
For the Techno brand in Nigeria, we want to bring all the products for different level of our customers. For high-end premium customers, or some people affordable to the price. So we want this kind of technology to be a different person. So whatever this customer, their money is, we want to give all the person they have the techno phone can be right for them.
Have you seen and handled a robot dog before? That is the Techno Dynamic One.
The company also launched other amazing products like MegaBook T16 laptops, Mega Mini Pad, handheld gaming device, earbuds, and robotic dog.
You find that some of our products like the MegaBook and the tablet and the earpod, and some of our devices like the Phantom V Fold 2 and the Phantom V Flip 2 is also coming with the artificial intelligence incorporated. So our consumers can actually be more productive with these new devices that we have in the Nigerian market.
Through extensive testing, research and design, Techno Mobile Nigeria believes it will continue to deliver a cohesive AI-powered ecosystem of mobile technologies that meets the needs of Nigeria's market.
Just before we go on business, a 29-year-old suspected kidnapper, rapist, and serial killer has been arrested by the Ogun State Police Command, while his accomplice is still at large. Leading officers of the command to the bushes where he buried his victims in Abeokuta, the State Commissioner of Police said the suspect has been responsible for cases of missing persons in and around Abeokuta, the state capital, in recent times. While families of the victims demanded justice for the death of their loved ones, the Commissioner of Police promised to arraign the suspect in court to face the consequences of his heinous action.
It was indeed an emotional time for family members as this 29-year-old suspect in handcuffs, allegedly responsible for the cases of some missing persons who happens to be their loved ones, led the police to the forest where he buried the victims in shallow graves. This attracted the curiosity of the family members and residents alike, who seek closure in a glimpse of the suspect, who is alleged to be complicit in other crimes, including rape. According to the State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Abiodun Alamotu, the suspect was in the habit of luring his victims into isolated forest areas where he forcefully collected their phones, through which he would demand ransom from their family members. According to the account of the police, he sometimes ended the lives of his victims.
Because if a 29-year-old person can be so heartless to carry out such killings, it is actually a disturbing trend. Initially, I was thinking he's deranged, but my conversation with him is of sound mind. He abducted them for money. He will steal their phone, tie them, strangulate them. Thereafter, use their phone to seek for ransom from their parents. The first one he collected 50,000. The other one he collected 17,000 naira. The last one he collected 30,000 naira.
The suspect, who has confessed to the crime, reveals his membership of Aye Confraternity, adding that his accomplice, who is still at large, enlisted him into the crime.
Me and Danjuma killed one person and I only killed 2 people alone. I belong to Aye Confraternity and I can say I've not joined them yet because they only initiate me to their attending as their lover, that the upcoming courtesy team. They just attend me. Okay, so I've not joined them yet. Me and Danjuma and those courtesy members, once they catch us, like if they want to give us judgment, they should just give us, they should go and kill us, because they are the one that lead me to that stupid things.
In an emotion-laden voice, a family member demands justice for the kidnap and murder of her loved one.
The boys do not escape this, so it's so painful. The guy is just 23 years old, and the father just died. Yeah. The thing is so painful, it's so painful.
The Ogun State Police Command has frowned on the rise in incidents of missing persons and other forms of criminal activity prevalent among the youth, but has promised to embark on a thorough investigation to ensure that other members of the kidnap gang are brought to book and justice is served.
Disturbing scenario indeed. Now let's find out what's happening in the world of business. Willie Bong has details.
Thank you, Melinda. The federal government has begun the sale of crude oil in Naira to local refineries to ensure price stability of petrol products in the country. The Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, made the announcement today on his ministry's X account handle after he met with key stakeholders in the oil and gas industry to review the implementation of the deal. According to the Finance Minister, the commencement, which takes off from October the 1st, is in line with the Federal Executive Council's directive. Its confirmation of the deal follows uncertainties over the commencement of the deal after the October 1st kickoff date, which was Nigeria's Independence Day celebration. Back in July, President Bola Tinubu directed NNPCL to sell crude in Naira to Dangote Refinery, while petroleum marketers hinted that the deal may lead to the reduction of fuel pump prices, which is currently selling between 950 naira and 1,100 naira per litre. Now, the Abia State government, in partnership with the Aba Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Mines and Agriculture, has expressed the readiness of Dr. Alex Oti-led administration to showcase the state as an investment destination for many countries of the world. Speaking during a media interaction in Aba, the Commercial Nerve Center of Abia State, the special advisor to the state governor on Trade, Commerce and Ministry and Industry, Mr. Nwaka Enem, said the 2024 Aba International Trade Fair will be significantly different from what was obtained in the previous years.
The trade fair will be significantly different from what was obtained in the previous years, for the reason that this year's event has been structured as a joint undertaking between the Abia State government and the Aba Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, ASEMA. This is to broaden the scope, reach and impact of the trade fair for the Aba business ecosystem and send a signal to the world that the glory of this great city as a pivotal business destination in Nigeria and across the West African region is returning. Thanks in large part to the commitment of His Excellency Governor Alex Oti OFR to restore the city's infrastructure and build new structures that business, leisure, and family life.
Now, Nigeria's foreign exchange reserves sustained accretion into the first week of October, marking its increase for the 5th consecutive week. According to latest data from the central bank, the country's external buffers climbed by $517.01 million week on week to $38.58 billion as at October the 3rd. Analysts attribute the latest increase in the country's external reserves to the improvement in Forex liquidity from increased foreign portfolio inflows. And at the FMDQ exchange, Forex trading activities ended negative this week as the total turnover of FX transactions carried out fell to $1.17 billion as at October the 4th. This amount represents a 5.3% week-on-week drop against the more than $1.24 billion value of transactions recorded last week. According to the FMDQ, the week-on-week decline in total turnover was largely driven by the 6.31% drop in turnover on the FX spot segment of the FX market, which offset the over 400% increase in FX derivatives turnover. Elsewhere, the Naira depreciated by 0.12% to 1,663 Naira 16 kobo against the dollar at the NAFEX window, in contrast to 1,661 Naira 20 kobo recorded last week. Now to the equities market. The domestic stock market ended the first trading week of October in the red. No thanks to profit taking on some bellwether stocks, particularly the shares of industrial giant Dangote Cement. As a result, the market's main index fell by 0.95% as significant sell pressure was intense across the industrial goods and banking sectors, while the consumer goods, insurance, as well as the oil and gas sectors recorded some gains. In the midst of the lackluster performance of the benchmark indicators, activity levels were mixed within the week, with total trading volume down by 13.6% week on week, while the value of trades surged by 188.9%. However, the total number of deals carried out this week was lower at 39,867. The shares of Deep Capital was top among 45 gainers this week, with a 31.53% increase on its share price. Mark Nichols led the 32 other losers with 15.63% drop, while the trio of Guinness, UBA and Japol Gold were the top 3 most actively traded stocks for the week. Let's take a look at the NASD unlisted market, where its performance ended the week stronger as the index jumped by 31% week to date, while the market cap closed higher at 4.01 trillion naira. At the same time, the volume of securities traded this week fell by over 90% to 53.7 million units. The total value of transactions for the week also fell by more than 3.92%, while the number of deals carried out was higher by 175.97% week on week. Top 3 advancers for the week are Okitipupa Oil, Akon Petroleum, and Afriland Properties. Friesland Campina and NASD PLC were the 2 losers. while Ardell Holdings was the most traded securities for the week. And that's a wrap on businesses. Now over to Victoria Longjohn in Abuja for some sports news.
Thank you, Will. On Sports News tonight, Super Eagles coach Augustine Eguavon has called Captain William Ekong, Ademola Lookman, and 20 other players for this month's home and away 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying battle with the Mediterranean Knights of Libya. Usual suspects Olaoluwa Aina, Calvin Bassi, Wilfred Ndidi, Alex Iwobi, Taiwo Awoni, Victor Boniface, and Samuel Chikweze are all included in the squad. The Super Eagles will host the Mediterranean Knights at the Gosula Pavio Stadium in Uyo on Friday, October 11, before flying to Benghazi to take on the Knights on Tuesday, October 15. All the players are expected to report to Uyo on Monday, October 7. In the English Premier League, Liverpool beat Crystal Palace 1-0 at Selhurst Park, courtesy of a goal by Portugal forward Diogo Jota. Elsewhere, defending champions Manchester City held on to beat Fulham 3-2, while Arsenal beat Southampton 3-1 with Kai Havertz, Gabriel Martinelli and Bukayo Saka all getting on the score sheet. Brentford beat Wolves 5-3 in an 8-goal thriller at the G-Tech Community Stadium. West Ham also beat Ipswich Town 4-1 at the London Stadium. Newly promoted Leicester City defeated Bournemouth 1-0. Newcastle and Everton settled for a goalless draw in the last game of the day. The tennis now, where world number 4 Novak Djokovic came through a close match against Alex Michelsen to go through to the third round of the Shanghai Masters. Djokovic was pushed all the way by his American opponent, getting the better of the two tiebreaks to seal a 7-6, 7-6 victory in just under 2 hours. And joining Djokovic in the third round is Germany's Alexander Zverev. The second seed beat Italy's Mattia Bellucci 6-4, 6-2 to advance. And Coco Gauff came from a set and a breakdown to defeat Paula Badosa in the China Open semi-finals. Gauff trailed 6-4, 4-2 before coming back to win 4-6, 6-4, 6-2 to advance to Sunday's final. Gauff's win over Badosa is her 20th WTA 1000 victory of the year, the most she has won in a single season. And that's it on Sports News. It's back to you, Melinda. Many thanks, Victoria. On the international scene, hundreds of demonstrators took to the streets in Tunis, the Tunisian capital, to protest against President Kais Saied ahead of the presidential elections. Protesters chanted as scuffles broke out with security forces. Hours before the presidential elections, residents were denouncing him over his alleged crackdown on political opponents. The protest comes after Tunisia's parliament approved a law stripping the administrative court of its authority to resolve electoral disputes, fueling fears within the opposition of a rigged election. Critics claim Mr. Saied is using the Electoral Commission to suppress competition, intimidate opponents, and secure his return to the seat of power. And the main news again. The Action People's Party, APP, has won 22 out of the 23 local government area chairmanship seats in Rivers State, announced by RCEC. The electoral umpire has said that the Che local government results and that of 319 councillorship results will be announced at a later date. The Rivers State Police Command is investigating 2 explosions that rocked the city of Port Harcourt in the early hours of today, as the command's explosive ordnance department has collected samples from both sites. That's the news at 10 tonight. I'm Melinda Akinlami on behalf of the team. Good night.